Many people, myself among them, feel better at the mere sight of a book, said Jane Smiley.
Hi, this is Avni, reading to you the review of Most Dangerous by Steve Shenkin.
Imagine how you would feel if your grubby little sister published the contents of your secret diary in the local newspaper for all the world to see. That was exactly how the United States was feeling in 1971 when Daniel Ellsberg released the Pentagon Papers in the New York Times. The Pentagon Papers contained every little incident and presidential order from the inner depths of the government. It showed the citizens everything happening in the Vietnam War behind their backs. It gives a detailed record of the US's involvement in the Vietnam War. Daniel Ellsberg used to be a part of the United States Marine Corps and Rand Corporation before becoming an anti-war activist. At first, he agreed to the cause of the Vietnam War, but soon he realized that people did not know what they were supposed to. The government was deluding them. Daniel joined the anti-war protests and soon decided to publish one of the most secret documents of the government. As he used to be a part of Rand Corporation, he had access to the Pentagon Papers. He managed to smuggle the papers out and photocopy them. The photocopied papers were soon released in the city newspapers. Most Dangerous is another one of Steve Shenkin's books. There is all you need to know about the atrocities of the US government in the Vietnam War. There are 370 pages and around 38 chapters. This book is suitable for kids aged 10 to 14. There are no illustrations, but the book has a lot of photographs. For your convenience, I am putting the product link in the description box below. Happy reading! I am going to read you the first few pages of Most Dangerous for you to understand the writing style of this author and decide whether this book is suitable for you or not. Cold Warrior. What could Daniel Ellsberg possibly have done to provoke such wrath, to be seen as such a threat? The story begins 26 years earlier, as World War II came to an end and the Cold War began. Ellsberg was just starting 9th grade at a prep school near Detroit, Michigan. He did not, at that time, appear particularly dangerous. Kind of a nerd is how one classmate described him. Very intense, another recalled. Very studious and very interested in a lot of things. A scrawny teen with dark curly hair, Dan was shy and quiet and had the unusual habit of walking around campus in a double-breasted suit, carrying his books and papers in a black briefcase. To classmates, he seemed obsessed with absorbing information and new ideas. But Dan did make an effort to branch out, landing the role of a wisecracking detective in the school play. He joined the bowling and rifle clubs. He even gave soccer a try. I was terrible at soccer, he recalled. Like many of his peers, Ellsberg was riveted by the rise of the Cold War. The global rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union intensified quickly during Ellsberg's high school years. As Soviet ruler Joseph Stalin installed communist dictatorships in the countries of Eastern Europe, violently crushing calls for freedom in any land under his control. Ellsberg admired President Harry Truman's response, a commitment to supporting democracies and containing Soviet influence from spreading further. I had become, Ellsberg later said, along with many other Americans, a Cold Warrior. In 1949, the Soviets tested their first atomic bomb, using plans stolen by spies from American labs. That same year, communists took power in China, the world's most populous nation. Then, with Soviet and China backing, communist North Korea invaded democratic South Korea in 1950. In the Korean War, US forces helped push back the invasion, but at a cost of more than 36,000 American lives. The Cold War was clearly going to be a long and bitter fight. Daniel Ellsberg wanted in.
After graduating third in his class from Harvard University, Ellsberg stunned friends and professors alike by applying for officers' training with the Marine Corps. I didn't seem the type, he later conceded. My interests were almost entirely intellectual, and I wasn't any kind of athlete. But those recruiting posters, the ones asking men if they were tough enough to be a Marine, called to him. Ellsberg willed his way through a training course filled with jocks and tough guys, and he served with pride as a Marine lieutenant. He then returned to Harvard and earned his PhD in economics. Questions of risk and decision making particularly intrigued him. To act reasonably, one must judge actions by their consequences, Ellsberg wrote in his doctoral thesis. But what if their consequences are uncertain? How should one act when consequences are uncertain? That question would become a major theme in Ellsberg's life. I hope you find this book's writing style up to your taste and reap its benefits. Thank you.